Hi, I'm going to walk you through a MindMeister that I made on educational assessment using technology. And the first thing I want to do is just point out that there really are two different types of assessments. There are formative assessments up here, which really are the assessments that teachers use to be able to inform how they're teaching and to shift their teaching if they need to. It's really the way that we look at student progress over the course of a lesson. And then summative assessments are really about end of the lesson assessments. They're really giving us a sense of assessing how much learning happened over a period of time. So some examples might be of summative assessments might be things like tests or final projects, final writings or essays. Some examples of formative assessments might be things like games that are embedded within a unit, quizzes, polls, etc. When we look at technology resources that can support this type of assessment, it's really varied, and I'll just point out a few options that teachers have. When we look at the process of collecting and analyzing data, this is really varied, and the tool that you choose is really going to have to do with what learning target you're looking at, and is it a formative assessment or a summative assessment that you're looking at. But things like polling can be great formative assessments, a great way to take a look and collect some data on students and give you a sense of how they're doing. Poll Everywhere is one example, as well as Poll Daddy. There are websites that'll give you some exercises, tools for visualization, quizzes, or games. Things like Socrative, Kahoot, Quizzes, Globster, Mind Maps, Lucidcharts, Wordles. Those are all great ways to get a sense of what are students learning, particularly in that formative area. What are students learning, and kind of where is their thinking with respect to a particular concept? And then blogs or student websites can be great assessment tools. I can imagine using a student website as a final capstone project where they're putting in the information that they're learning as they're learning it, and then you assess that all at the end, taking a look at what all they included in their website. Blogs, I can imagine being a great formative tool where they might write about particular concepts as they go through. Obviously, online testing sites are a great resource for teachers when you're looking at summative testing, if it, sort of a variation of basic paper pencil testing, but it will provide you as a teacher with the ability to collate those grades quickly and to get responses back to students in a timely way. Some examples for online testing sites are Moodle sites, Socrative, Testmos, etc. Also, final writing projects, Google Docs obviously supports that in a great way. Kids can share their writing with other students, they can get feedback, they can share it with you, they can get feedback from you, then they can turn around and submit a final document. It just allows for more fluidity, more of a collaborative environment around writing, etc. When we look at interpreting results and communicating findings back, I thought about things like rubrics. Oftentimes as teachers we create a rubric that sort of guides the learning that we would like to see students garner over the course of a lesson. And so there's a website called For All Rubrics that seems like it might be a good one. Also electronic gradebooks, obviously, things like School Ties, Skyward, that allow students to access that grade or assessment data quickly, and then also turn around and retest if they want to, or if that's part of their school's policy to be able to do that. How do we accelerate student achievement using technology? I thought of things like RTI, which is response to intervention. Technology makes it a lot easier for us to target a specific skill. There's probably an app for that. To target it in a variety of ways, and then to go back and watch student progress over time so that we don't have to wait for a long period of time to retest them. We can retest them, sometimes within a few minutes or within a few days, and that allows us to be more responsive to what they need. Also recognizing when students are struggling and teaching in a different way to be able to support their learning. Additional points of importance, we really need to make sure that we're providing a wide variety of assessments through the course of a term. That gives learners who might not be language and logic, maybe that's not their strength, to be able to allow them to shine on particular assessments. Also, I really had questions around how do we measure student engagement, because we know that that is part of the process of being excited about learning. And also, how do we incorporate student feedback so that we know how we're doing as teachers, and recognizing that when they're more engaged, when they're more excited, when they think we're doing a good job, we're likely to see that that excitement, that engagement manifest in better grades ultimately on assessments. All right, thanks for listening.